What's up, guys? Welcome in for Trainer Talk Tuesday. Hope you're having a good start to your week and a great day as well. Ready for some good information to take in? Well, open up your ears and let's listen up.
All right, guys, so we're going to get into inflammation and the immune system and how you can really heal the body through nutrition and exercise. So first, we want to define what inflammation is. Inflammation is the body's first line of defense against toxins, irritants, infections, and injuries. So acute inflammation is actually very good. It becomes bad for our bodies when it is chronic or it's prolonged over long periods of time. So to give you an example that everybody can understand, an acute inflammatory response would be, if you get a splinter stuck in your finger, right? And we all know that swelling takes place, there's pain, there's redness that's involved in that. That's actually a good thing because that's how your body really fights that foreign substance and gets it out of your body. Okay, so that is a positive thing, that's a good thing. In that same scenario, the negative part would be chronic, right? If you never removed that splinter, if you never got it out of your finger, then that would cause long-term issues, right? That pain would increase, you would develop infections, and it would all around just not be a good scenario, okay? Well, now we're going to kind of flip it in terms that you guys may not necessarily think about, because when we think about inflammation, we think about injuries like that. We think about these outside forces that cause an inflammatory response, like swelling, like an injury. In regards or terms of nutrition, and that's what we want to talk to you guys about today, because what you put in your body in the form of food can also cause an inflammatory response. So acute, an example of an acute inflammatory response when it comes to your diet would be occasionally having a glass of wine, okay? Your body can deal with that. It can moderate that and deal with it as it needs to get rid of it in the body. Now, the chronic inflammatory response would be if you started drinking alcohol every single day. Now, we all know that that would cause issues. It would cause long-term damage to your liver and to your overall health and wellness. So nutrition does play a huge, huge role in how your body and immune system functions.
Absolutely, guys. As we all know, it's no secret here, whether you are on a healthy diet plan or not, we all know that what we put in our body is determining what we're going to get out of it. So if we have an overabundance of inflammation in the body, we're going to have a lot of things going on that's going to cause a lot of issues with us, as Larissa said, when it comes to the long-term effect of things. So the more we can cut down on those things and have those things much less often or not at all, the much better your body is going to be overall, because it's not going to have to be defending itself throughout all periods of time. So you're doing yourself a huge favor when you cut back on some of these things that we would call a chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation, where your body gets a chance to relax and actually it takes more time from trying to recover, and it spends more time building you up, helping you become healthier. Not just fighting off issue after issue, things that are setting you back versus things that are pushing you forward. So guys, if you want to have a good, healthy feeling body, then obviously we want to cut down on a lot of those things that we would deem inflammatory foods and substances overall in general. And some of those things could be dairy, as you know, gluten, refined sugars, caffeine, and as we already spoke about and mentioned, for an example, alcohol, one of the most common things a lot of us pretty much consume, if not just regularly, at least a lot of people on the daily basis from what you see. So the more you can kind of cut back on those things, dairy, which you can find in a lot of the things that we consume with just our regular, what's the word I'm looking for here?
All these inflammatory foods are highly prevalent in the American diet. So you're probably hearing us go over these different categories and you're like, well, what am I supposed to eat? Or you might,
which is a common response that most people have before they are pretty much made aware of all the things around. Look, guys, we're not really taught about, what we should be eating primarily. We get a little bit of it, but also we're not really told about the negative side effects of an overconsumption of these things over time. I know a lot of us, we spoke personally about our own family trees and things that has pushed us to want to get into the industry, things that has motivated us and inspired us to want to really, really dwell deep into what being healthy actually means. And dairy, gluten, refined sugar, that's a thing in itself that you can find in a lot of different just foods out there and drinks out there. Caffeine, same as well. And then again, the alcohol. So the more you can give your body less of those things, the better off your body is going to be, because it's going to be in a much less state of inflammation.
Yeah, guys, and just like we gave those analogies about like acute inflammatory responses versus chronic, most of you are in a chronic state of inflammation because you are consuming one or multiple foods from these categories that we just listed that are known to be inflammatory. So if you think that these foods are a staple in your diet, then guess what? Your body is under stress, it is under an immense amount of inflammation, and we know that chronic inflammation ultimately leads to chronic disease and illness. Things like diabetes, cancer, okay? All these things, guys, all these different chronic illnesses, autoimmune issues, they are all going to go back to your immune system, and that is going to play a huge role in the inflammatory response in the body. So, as Nate mentioned, reducing or completely eliminating these foods are going to be ideal to make sure that your immune system is equipped to handle anything that may come your way, right? It's in a strong and healthy position, and then just overall keeping you well.
One thing I want to add too, when you mention chronic state of inflammation, most people are. The thing is, a lot of you don't know how bad you actually feel until you actually start to do things to feel better. As professionals working with multitude of people over the years, that's one of the first responses we get when people really start to see those changes, even before they come physically, is when they start to remove some of these things that were staples within their diet. They notice that, man, I used to think I feel great, but I really feel good now. And that's something that you will continue to experience as your overall health improves, with the more you just focus on it and you give your body all those things it needs.
And I think oftentimes when we think of inflammation, we think of, like that splinter analogy, or we think of, oh, I hurt my knee and now it's swelling up. We think of things that we can see. And the inflammation that we're referring to, you may not always be able to see. Yes, you may be carrying an excess amount of weight. You may have swelling in your ankles and your wrists. You might have puffiness around your eyes and in your face. Those are types of swelling, and you may notice that. But some of you may look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, I don't have any inflammation. I'm not swollen. And you may not be on the outside yet. But on the inside, your organs could be full of inflammation. And we get things like fatty liver disease, right? All these things go back to inflammation in the body. So just because you can't see it does not mean that it's not there. It is having an effect on you internally. So that is definitely something important to know. And guys, when we talk about reducing or eliminating these types of foods, right, we want you to ultimately replace them with nice, whole, healthy foods. So we're talking about all those yummy vegetables, particularly low-starch veggies, guys. Low-starch veggies. So examples of those are going to be like your green leafy vegetables, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, asparagus, peppers, all right? All those low-starch veggies that are high in nutrients but low in calories. Those are going to be the things that you really want to load up on. You also want to increase your fruit intake. Predominantly your low sugar fruit intake, especially if you do have chronic illness or something like diabetes where you have to watch your blood sugar levels, then low sugar fruits are going to be ideal. Think of them as as a dessert. So low sugar fruits are things like berries. I believe a peach is a low sugar fruit.
And would it be a peach? It's extremely sweet.
Maybe a nectarine. There's different.
It's all different.
Look it up, guys. I'm not sure. I know berries are low sugar. The high sugar fruits are are going to be like your citrusy fruits. So these are more of your tropical fruits, the really, really sweet ones like pineapple or mango, probably some of your favorites. Not saying that you can't ever have them, but those are going to be ones that you want to have in moderation and load up on the low sugar fruits first. But those are going to be predominantly what we're asking you to incorporate into your meal, and then also high quality lean protein, whether that's animal protein or vegetable protein. Make sure that you're getting the correct amount to meet your goals. So that is important. That should make up your entire meal and your entire day of eating for every single week, guys. Not saying that you can't have some of those other things here and there, but it should not be a staple in your diet. It should not be, an everyday thing or even a weekly thing. It should be something that is used in moderation for special occasions, so your body can recognize those things as a foreign substance and be able to fight it off accordingly.
Right, guys. Remember, lesser is more.
All right, guys. And nutrition's obviously a huge, huge factor, but if you combine nutrition with exercise, you're really gonna get like the double whammy there, because exercise activates the sympathetic nervous system. And if you don't know what that is associated with like our breathing and our heart rate and our blood pressure, right? These things rise when we work out naturally. But when that nervous system is activated, it decreases inflammation in the body because it suppresses cytokine, which is like, those are basically proteins in the body that are important for signaling other cells. I can't talk. Signaling other cells. So those things are important because cytokine is naturally pro-inflammatory. So when we exercise and it suppresses that, that means it's going to have an anti-inflammatory response. So short term, yes, exercise does cause inflammation in the body. It's that acute stress, that acute inflammation that we talked about. That's why you get sore. But if you develop a constant exercise routine over the course of long periods of time, right, we're talking consistency, we're talking longevity here, then you're actually going to reduce inflammation in the body overall, which in return reduces disease.
Is that it?
I think so. I get it out.
Guys, I'm like you. Sometimes I sit and I listen to Larissa speaking here, and I just like, you know what? I'm just listening and soaking in all this good information as well. So I hope you're writing some of that stuff down. Comment in the comment section if you're interested in knowing what do we mean by some of these terms. I know this terminology can go above some folks' heads sometimes. But guys, all in all, we're just trying to give you guys a healthier approach to living your life every single day. And like we said before, there's no secret that what you put in your body is going to be determined what you get out. So the fresher, more whole foods that you eat, the better off you're going to be. The more exercise, the more activity you have in your daily routine, the better off you are going to be. These things are not a secret. We're not, I don't think we're telling anybody anything new here for the most part. We just want to give you guys the significance of it. And once you start to do it and you start to see those improvements, you start to feel better, you start to lessen that inflammation within the body, your body adapts to all those things and you become a healthier whole person.
Yep, guys, so there it is. Inflammation, breaking it down and how it affects your immune system and how you can heal the body naturally through just nutrition and exercise, guys. So very important steps there. Definitely reach out, guys, and let us know if you're interested in learning more. We would love to actually take you through a complimentary consultation where we can guide you through specifically what you're doing every day and how we can make changes and help you dependent on where you currently are at mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so we can develop a plan going forward to really reach your individual goals.
And one thing I want to close this out with and say, just to go back, because I know there are people out there who may want to try, they listen to this and they want to try it out. If you're someone and you're consuming dairy, gluten, refined sugar, caffeine, and alcohol regularly, don't try to cut all those things out at once and go cold turkey, because you're going to find yourself right back before you know it taking those same things in because your body isn't accustomed to going without them. So try to remove 1 or 2 at a time, see how you feel, and then continue to do so as it goes on. So knock that first domino down and let the other chips fall where they may. But don't just try to go all in all at once, especially if this is something that's new to you, because you will overwhelm yourself in your body for the most part. And then you could have a negative experience, and then you'll just be right back doing what you're doing, and you'll be more hard pressed to want to try that thing out again. So take your time with it, be patient. It wasn't an overnight experience for you to end up where you are now if you are suffering from any of those chronic inflammatory issues that we spoke of in this video. But it's going to be a slow process to turn it around as well, but you can do it. It's done every single day, and we would love to help you do so.
Yep, guys, and actually, if you find yourself being one of those people who are consuming a lot of the inflammatory foods, check out our 7-day free trial. We'll post it in the comments here because you can take advantage of Electrify Your Life Cleanse. And that cleanse is an anti-inflammatory diet. It's really going to walk you through the steps of preparing your body for a cleanse and then removing those inflammatory foods. So the detox reactions that Nate was talking about, like those negative, unpleasant symptoms that have to happen in order to find healing, but we don't want to all happen at once, right? Or you're going to feel really, really bad. It's going to take you through those steps of making sure that you're doing it at a healthy pace for your body. So make sure to check that out. I'll put that in the comments, and you can do your first 7 days free and go from there.
Don't get any better than that. Risk-free, guys. So go ahead, take a chance. Let us help you help yourself. That way we can continue to change this world and help one person at a time.
All right, guys, we love you. Be healthy, make healthy choices, and as always, never give up.
Never lose hope. And
Never settle.
All right, guys, continue having a great week. And if you aren't, I hope that turns around soon and you have the power to control that, guys. So have a great one.